Hello there. I am Ilian Calendar, if you're seeing me for the first time. I am a domestic abuse awareness advocate, and I'm also a domestic abuse survivor. I've experienced emotional abuse, mental abuse, and physical abuse. But thank God I escaped it. Thank God I escaped the bondage of domestic abuse. As we're now in the month of October, it is considered Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And in New York, where I live, Governor Kathy has made a statement, start the conversation. And I really like that. Start the conversation. And I want to tell you today, start the conversation. Parents, start the conversation with your daughters and with your sons. Church leaders, start the conversation in your young people's ministry, your men's ministry, your women's ministry. Start the conversation. It is very important. The conversation need to take place in high schools as well, in college as well. There should be a session for that, even a class for that, because as we can see, many women are dying of domestic abuse. It is now more frequent than ever, like an epidemic. And so it is very important to have the conversation. Have the conversation with your daughters, letting them know that domestic abuse is not okay. A man hitting them is not okay. A man being aggressive to them is not okay. A man telling them nasty things and calling them out of their names and belittling them is not okay. Let them know to look out for signs if they're teenagers and young adults dating, of aggressiveness and the man wanting to control them and being possessive and even trying to isolate them from their family. Let them know that that is not love and that is not okay. And speak to your sons. Let them know that it's not okay to hit a woman. Fathers, good fathers, speak to your sons and let them know that it's not okay to hit a woman. And church leaders, have the conversation in your men's meeting that it is not okay to abuse your wives. Have the conversation, because there's someone in your church, a woman who's in your church, who's being abused by either that deacon, that pastor, that apostle, that bishop, that man who's just attending church. A woman is suffering. So have that conversation in your men's ministry. Ladies, have the conversation in your women's ministry. When you go on retreats, let that be one of the conversation among the women, letting them know that remaining in abuse is a very dangerous thing because it can escalate to death. And remaining in a toxic situation where you're being abused and belittled, being abused emotionally and mentally and physically, that it's not okay to remain in that. Not only for themselves, but also for their children. Have the conversation. It is very important. It may not save all may not listen, but somebody, it will touch someone's heart. It will touch a man's heart to take a look in himself, to examine himself, to change and to stop it if he's doing it. And it will give more knowledge to a woman or a young woman or a teenager that as they come into contact with someone who they see showing certain behaviors, they will right away. Pay attention to that and be careful not to remain in that relationship or not to even start that relationship. It is very important to have the conversation. Have the conversation. It is vital. It will help to save many women, and it will help to allow some men to stop what they're doing. Have the conversation. If you have any type of group with teenagers and young women and young men, or a group with grown women or grown men, let that be one of the things that you discuss and talk about. Many women feel trapped. Many women feel like it's not okay for them to leave because they're Christian women or they're in the church. Many women and young women, even teenagers, we have seen died by another teenager who's their boyfriend, who end up killing them, and they were already abusing them, but they stayed in it thinking that's love, or they stayed in it being afraid to leave the situation or just feeling controlled. So have the conversation. Let it be a part of the conversation that you have with your children as they grow. We talk to them about their bodies and other things. Domestic abuse, that is a conversation that every parent needs to have with their son, with their daughter. Have the conversation. It can save a life. It can rescue a woman. It can change a man. Yes. It won't change all. It won't rescue all, but it will be effective to someone. So have the conversation. So know today, woman, if you're in a domestic abuse situation, if you're being abused, mistreated, it is not okay for you to remain in that. And you don't deserve that. You are of worth. You are of value. You are not what that man says you are. And when he tells you you're nothing and you can't do anything, it is a lie. You can do all things through Christ. There are some things that I'm doing now, business-wise, and I didn't think before that I was capable of managing that. I had a daycare for 10 years when I was still, before I escaped domestic abuse. And before I fully escaped, I should say. And when the parents would come and I would, talk to them and they get their children and all of that, after I close up, the other person would say to me that, oh, you don't know how to do business. You don't know how to do business. You don't know how to do business. But look at what I'm doing now. More than I ever thought. I thought I was what he says I was. And I thought that I was not capable because he said it. So know today that you are better than that. Know today that you can make it after you escape your domestic abuse situation. You can make it. And I have to put God in it. With God, you can make it. You just have to take action, and then you have faith that God will see you through. And as long as you keep God in your life, he will see you through. Yes. So after escaping, your life does not have to crumble and come to nothing. You can survive. I am doing it. You can live again. I am doing it. And you'll be able to exhale instead of dealing with anxiety and fear. Escape the abuse. Come out of it. And for you who are not experiencing domestic abuse, but you're watching this video, have the conversation. It is necessary. Take care now.